This week on HMP, we're wrapping up our Rom-Tom series with Sleepless in Seattle, and you won't be able to sleep after you hear my hot take this week. Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Oh, shit. Hold on. Hold on. Everything is going.
Wow.
Wow. All right. We're going to start.
You guys hear that, right? That's not just what as always in my brain always.
No.
No. It's like you played every single sound file at once somehow.
It's like I had a separate window open. All of a sudden, the stream started and it started catching itself. All right, let's try again. Holy hell! This week on HMP, we're wrapping up our Rom-Tom series with Sleepless in Seattle, and you won't be able to sleep when you hear my hot take this week. Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Welcome back, you dirty babies. It's time for another Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Sure, we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. My name is Adam Porters, and joining me today, he's the YOH. That means your only hope, Obi-Wan. I mean, sweet Sean Kovac from the internet.
Thank you for that. Now he's kissing her on the lips. She's a hoe. My dad's been captured by a hoe.
And he legitimately could have a Jimmy Durante-type musical career only if he stuck to it. Bruce Leslie.
You know, it's easier. You're more likely to get killed by a terrorist than to get married after 40.
Well, it's terrorist time for me, everybody. We're going straight to the bottom rung this month, everybody, because we have been reviewing Tom Hanks romantic comedies, or rom-toms, as we've been calling them, in order. And we close out this month with taking a look back at the movie that would take already huge stars and take them to the absolute stratosphere with the second pairing of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in Sleepless in Seattle from 1993. Boy, oh boy, did this movie have a chokehold on America at the time. I mean, like, I was like, 11 years old, so I don't remember too much, but boy, do I remember the barrage that was Sleepless in Seattle.
You know, the funny thing about this movie is when you look into the research on this is literally Nora Ephron. Like, Nora Ephron made all of this happen. This movie exists because of her. Every time that the production will run into a problem, she would fix said problem, even if it was something political. Like, she had that kind of power. I didn't realize that until I looked into it. And it's really nice to see somebody at the height of their power make a movie, and she was right. You know, like, I mean, the only thing about this movie that I dislike about it is that it spawned a million imitators and less thans, because Sleepless in Seattle, like, I always kind of figured that it was When Harry Met Sally, you know, another Meg Ryan movie that kind of like really
another Nora Ephron film.
right. And but I thought it was another thing where they just launched the whole thing, right? Like, I thought that launched everything, and it kind of did, because you don't get Sleepless in Seattle without When Harry Met Sally, but Sleepless in Seattle is what everyone was trying to make again. And they're not as, the scripts aren't as smart as Sleepless in Seattle. I had seen this movie before, but I'd seen it a million years ago. And I was really taken back by how good a movie this is. It's just like, it's like we were talking about last week with Joe versus the Volcano. It's just the adverse of that, where, like, this is people who know how to make a movie, and they made a really solid, good movie. Now, whether or not this is your style of movie, granted, you might not like it. However, if you like romantic comedies, I don't know how you can see this movie and just think to yourself, it's a really great romantic comedy. It really is.
And I think, and we'll get into it, but it could be one of those things that, like, also looking at it now, especially for people like a new, fresh audience looking at it now, they could look at this movie and go like, oh, look at all the tropes and how rote everything is. And it's like, it wasn't in 1993.
It set up the tropes. It literally made the tropes.
Yeah.
I
You
saw
know,
this
one
in
of
the
the things that's so sorry, Bruce, go ahead.
I saw this in the theater like when it was fresh, and I remember everybody loving it, but you know, it just wasn't my type of movie.
Right.
So I went into it with an open mind this time. Might not have changed my opinion. We'll get into it.
Well, the
Oh.
man, what was I going to say about this? I can't
Sorry.
remember.
Well, you think about that, because before we jump into this giant review and everything, we want to remind people that this show is live on YouTube every Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern. Drop on by, head out and be one of the dirty babies in the chat there, and let us know what your thoughts are. We'll read them out in the air. And if you really, really love us, why don't you just drop us a super chat, aka
Fortress Bucks.
And we'd really appreciate that one, man. And we'll definitely be reading that one on there and celebrating all of you and your fantastic stuff. So appreciate you guys. And if you want to be a big giant fan, head on over to patreon.com/HMP, pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone. And today, he's not on the stream yet. He usually ends up during the Dinger Zone stream portion and everything. But Alex, you are our highlighted Patreon supporter this week. Alex is an awesome guy out there in the middle of the country. And while there's not much to do out there, he does his best with what he's got. Again, another one of those great things that like you're a Patreon. He's a Patreon person. Then you become friends with these people. And so it goes just beyond, he's somebody that I talk to on several times a week. So, listen, you can become our friends as well. But you don't even have to be the Patreon.
Hey.
Just support the show. We really appreciate it. You can do that by either Patreon or by liking and sharing on the YouTube and all that crap, man. It's super easy.
Just yesterday, I watched a movie with MVD online. So yeah, we really get personal relationships with these folks.
Hold on a second now. I'm going to take umbrage with something you said earlier, that just because you live in the middle of the country doesn't mean there's nothing to do. I would even say to you, that's East Coast bias, but you live outside of Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have literally no room to talk when it comes to not a whole lot to do.
I got a quick drive to anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but so does somebody who lives in Indianapolis or Kansas City or any of the other place. Like, just because you live in the middle of the country doesn't mean anything.
Hey, I live in the
Listen,
town.
can you not let me disparage the entire middle of the country?
No, I can't, because I've got a bit of a soft spot for Middle America. I like Middle America quite a bit.
I live in a place where the biggest draw is you can get anything on a biscuit.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm. So do us all those favors here and everything. Patreon.com/HMP, or just hit that like and subscribe button. If nothing else, that's what we really appreciate you doing, and all that kind of good stuff coming in week after week, month after month, year after year. Let's get into it then, boys. Here is the IMDb plot line for Sleepless in Seattle. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. A recently widowed man's son calls a radio talk show in an attempt to find his father a partner. It's as clear as he got, but I'll give it to you. IMDb, good one on that one. Story by Jeff Arch, screenplay by, and I'll break all this down for you because this is a little bit complicated. Jeff wrote the original screenplay, and it was acquired and rewritten to a big degree, so much so that they get built before Jeff does. But it was rewritten by David S. Ward, who wrote such films as Major League, King Ralph, The Program, some piece of shit called The Sting from 1973. Maybe somebody's heard of it. He co-wrote this movie then with director Nora Ephron, who I am to understand is not the third baseman for the Mets. I'm not sure why that note's still in there. Nora wrote movies like this one, as well as Silkwood, When Harry Met Sally, as well as directed and wrote This Is My Life, Mixed Nuts, Michael, You've Got Mail, Lucky Numbers, Bewitched, and her last work was Julie and Julia, which I enjoyed.
Oh, really? That was a good movie.
Starring Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, Rosie O'Donnell, Bill Pullman, Rita Wilson, Victor Garber, David Hyde Pierce, and the late Rob Reiner.
My mind's still blown
1993. Go ahead.
My mind's still blown that The Sting and King Ralph had the same writer.
Yeah. Man, I remember seeing just ads upon ads upon ads, but as an 11-year-old, as you might imagine, this didn't quite speak to me. So I didn't quite rush out to see it, but I certainly remember the chokehold that this movie had on everybody in the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, this is literally the epitome of date movie. Like, if you're alive and of dating age in what is it, 94? you
93.
know, 93, like you went and saw this movie. You had to go and see this movie.
I think it's the popularity of this movie that led to An Affair to Remember being remade about a year later.
I don't know that movie.
It's the movie they're within a movie.
Oh,
here
you
that they're
mean you
always
didn't
watching.
remember that affair?
Like it's the original
Oh yeah,
movie
the
you're watching.
movie in the movie.
Yeah. And I think I'm on a delay, so I'm not
Carry
intentionally talking over you guys.
Yeah, I think that is a little bit of delay on your part. So we'll try to roll with that as best we can here. I'd known of the thing, and but I didn't realize how long that this movie would take to kind of get rolling and stuff, and how really we used to let movies breathe. This movie breathes, and like you would not see this movie happen today because it would be taking far too long to be doing anything. There's contemplative moments in this movie, and you're like, when do you get that in rom-coms and stuff anymore, where a character's just sitting and going like, what the hell am I doing with my life? How I got to get things together, and just sitting and thinking, and you're watching his wheels turn. You don't see that in movies today.
Yeah, how much time is spent with him in contemplation on his deck / porch?
Yeah.
Like there is a whole lot of time spent out there where he's just looking out into the sound. Like it's kind of. I think the reason why I enjoyed this watch is just because movies aren't made like this anymore, and I sound like the oldest person alive right now. But there is a lot of that. Like, for example, right? Meg Ryan's character in this movie, her personal vehicle, her everyday driver is a Chevy Cavalier.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it's like a junker. Like my brother had that car.
Do you think this is the only time in her entire life that Meg Ryan has known the quiet elegance of a Chevy Cavalier?
I don't know what her
it's quite possible.
Was.
I can't see her not riding in anything less than a BMW for some reason.
Just grew up rich.
Ooh, no, a Honda? I don't think so, pal. What are you talking about? So like, this was kind of like her horse and buggy era.
Yeah.
She's just like, ooh, it's like a period piece. They're like, not really, but okay, we'll go with it.
I think when you're cute, people who don't even know you buy you BMWs.
Probably.
I will say this though. This Meg Ryan looks like the quintessential 90s lady in this, don't she? Like just between the makeup
maybe to
and
you,
everything.
sir.
Yeah.
Maybe to you.
I just mean of a particular time, not that she would have to be your particular,
We had a whole lot
cup
of
of tea, as it were.
flowy skirts and Doc Martens when this came out where I live.
I was gonna say now that there's not a single scene where Meg Ryan's wearing sort of a short skirt and Doc Martens, and she's not smoking clove cigarettes and has dyed black hair like I like. I mean, what are we talking about again?
Huh?
Check out Singles if you want
I
to know
can't
what
be
the girls
excited over
look
this.
like.
But she is great. Like she's not overdone. She has that kind of, again, perfect sort of like, this is a very beautiful woman, but it's a beautiful woman that you could probably see in real life in a weird way, because like she's beautiful, but like an approachable beautiful with her. I can't, I don't know how else to describe it, but it looks like somebody that would be nice to you as opposed to mean.
That's the worst kind of attractive you can be is approachable attractive, because that's the lady who gets hit on the most.
Yeah.
Like somebody who looks like girl who played Harley Quinn, that actress.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah. If you're Margot Robbie, not every dude in the world is coming up to you and hitting on you because you're unapproachably beautiful. But like Meg Ryan, well, plenty of guys are like, you know what? I bet if she just got to know me, she'd really like me. Like that's the worst kind of attractive you could possibly be.
Oh yeah.
When you're Meg Ryan, you need to wear a spiked dog collar and smoke a cigarette whenever people are around.
And Hanks, I'll be honest. So let's talk about this for half a second, because like I realized that like while I was kind of driving today, I was like, you know what? we needed to explain some of the artwork and why the artwork is different this week than we had in weeks previous here and everything. Number one, Tom Hanks you don't see his hands much in this movie, like almost at all. It's really weird in a strange sense. And I had been thinking that Sean's Lady is a crazy person for the longest of times, but this movie almost convinced me, because we're like hiding, like he's got like long jackets that go over his hands and stuff like that. There's enough going on, and the internet does not have a lot of high definition pictures of any bits of his hands, save for like maybe a phone call type thing in this movie. And I was not on board for any of the hands theory until this movie, and the fact that I can't find hands.
I mean, I literally wrote this note because when I was watching it this time around, this is what my note says. I always thought that Lindsay was kind of overstating the size of his hands, but my God, man, that end of the movie shot where he puts out his hand and Meg Ryan puts her hand in his hand. Her hand is like this big in his hand. Like those are some giant ass mitts, man. Like I laughed so hard that Lindsay was like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'm like, "You." It was so funny, man. It was so good. Like, and maybe she also, like, you know, has little hands. Like, let's give the man a bit of a doubt. Like, maybe Meg Ryan just has abnormally small hands, also on top of Tom Hanks having gigantic mitts. But when you see that little hand go into his hand, it is crazy. And he put in, like, her hand is like the size of his thumb, dude. It was bonkers.
It's like
I always thought she was hand
going into Thanos' hand, and you're like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yes, exactly like that. Yes, it was shocking, and like when I like, because I really did think that she was sort of oversitting until that scene showed up, and I was like, "Holy shit, she's totally right. Those are some gigantic mitts. Look at those paws. My God."
But he's hiding them, like he's hiding them in long sleeves and stuff like that. It's a little bit weird, and like for whatever reason, it kind of stuck out to me this time, and I'm like, maybe she might be onto something here.
She totally is, man. That scene, I was like, nope. She's not only that, she's not even overstating it. Like, those are some huge hands, man.
I hear he doesn't even have to wear a glove in recreational baseball.
He probably can't.
Hey, I've seen A League of Their Own. He does not wear a glove.
Or it's like OJ, you know, like he's trying to put on a baseball glove.
Gives you that, I don't know.
A first baseman's glove.
That was my favorite part of OJ, just going like, I don't know. Beats the hell out of me, boss. And you're just like, well, I guess he didn't do it.
Guess not. All right.
Case closed, everybody.
Innocent.
Tell you that Jackie
Don't worry,
Childs
we'll get him
knows what
later.
he's doing.
Oh my word, what a time. Bill Pullman. I forgot Bill Pullman was in this. And let me tell you, I love me some Bill Pullman. We'll be talking about him later in the Dingers on our top 5 Bill Pullman, just to give you a little sneaky McSneakers in there. But the opposite of what we've kind of had in the while you were sleeping character. Now he's on the other foot.
I forget that there's a moment in time where when you need an actor to portray someone who is like totally vanilla, you call Bill Pullman. Like, I totally forgot that was a moment in time. Like Ellen DeGeneres romantic comedy, Mr. Wrong. He's in that. Like, it's like everything about Bill Pullman during this time is, look at this guy. Isn't he just lovely? But there's just no animal attraction there. Like, that's why they hire him. That's literally why they hire him for a couple of years. And it's interesting to see, because it feels like watching Bill Pullman in this movie is like he's got a fastball, but he just refuses to throw it in this movie. And it's really interesting to see, because that's not his job. His job is not to be the most interesting man in the room. It's to be the least interesting man in the room. And he totally nails it. Like, think about how difficult it is to tell a joke bad every single time. Like that takes like Steve Carell on The Office would talk about how, like, yes, everybody, like other comedians are so jealous of the fact that I get to tell all these jokes that are truly awful on purpose. But the part no one thinks about is you have to erase all of the comedic timing that you know about something in order for that to work. And he has several scenes where like he's doing impressions or he's got like some callback to some popular movie at the time, and it's always wrong. And he totally nails it. I love Bill Pullman in this movie, man.
He has a very
I'm always waiting for Bruce because he's on a bit of delay.
Yeah, well, I'm
There we
trying
go.
to be as quiet as I can because I hate stepping on people. I know how annoying it is for the viewers and the listeners when you're on a delay like that. So I'm not sitting back because I don't have much to say. I'm just trying not to throw a monkey wrench in.
We should have a thing called Bruce's Corner. Now it's time for Bruce's Corner.
We'll get it's time for MVD's corner because I'm not sure what this is in reference to, MVD, but he just says he dropped a $5 and said, I just don't see it, you guys. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure he'll clarify.
I think he doesn't see the value that some of us, not me, are throwing on this movie, the praise.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, it's a style of movie that not everyone is going to love, Like,
Tom's hands is what he's going on. Actually.
Okay. Tom's hands, man. MVD, there's a scene at the very end of this movie. Just go through, scrub through the entire timeline on what is this on? Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. Yeah, it's on Prime here and everything. Looks fantastic. Why is this not available in physical form, people? What's going on with you? It doesn't make much sense. It feels like a go-to. This looks and sounds good. Put it on a disc. Mm-hmm.
When they're on the top of the Empire State Building and they go to hold hands, I defy you to tell me that Tom Hanks doesn't have gigantic hands. It's bananas.
Oh, what they didn't tell you is that they subbed in the kid's hand for her hand because she had a good lunch. There's going to be a meal penalty. So they were like, kid, get in there. He's just like, okay. They put a little fingernail polish on him. It's just like, I fucking won't know the difference.
Do we have doll hands for this insert shot? We want a doll hand.
I'm thinking of like the Scary Movie where Chris Elliott had the little.
I was about to say, I didn't know Chris Elliott was a stand-in in this film. Bruce on the same level.
They use like reverse force perspective. They put his hands way behind him to make him look normal.
It's a real bitch for all the lighting guys, but eventually, you get to figure out how it works.
So one of the things that I want to talk about first, because I don't have a ton to talk about set dressing for this movie, just because in the production design of this movie, just because it's Nora Ephron. Like everything Nora Ephron does, like she cared so much about production design in her movies that of course it all looks correct and it all looks great because it's Nora Ephron. It's, like the thing she's known for most are these gigantic, beautiful kitchens, but that is not what this movie is. So, the kitchen looks great in this movie, but everything else does too. And it's a Nora Ephron movie.
People dinner. That's always that's a good one there. That
exactly.
tells me I don't know nothing from nothing, but just given what I'm watching and what I'm seeing on the screen here, I just go, Nora Ephron's been to these.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
It's like, probably not even the looking down on somebody else kind of thing, just as much as hey, we're on equals. Like that just feels like that would be her world is walking amongst these snooty McSnootersons.
But as much as you look at something like Home Alone, right? The McAllister house in Home Alone, and as an adult, you look at that house and you're like, what did Mr. McAllister do for a living? It's this crazy expensive looking house, and it's not a mansion, but it is mansion adjacent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you look at Tom Hanks' house in this movie, right? And the Sleepless in Seattle, he's got this houseboat kind of house, and it's 2 stories, and there's a lot of house there, right? But because it's a boat, everyone's kind of like, well, maybe he's
an architect, so he's got bread.
So maybe Tom Hanks' house in 2014, mind you, before the housing boom happens, sold for $2 million. To give you an example of how much money that house would go for. I can't even imagine what that houseboat is worth in 2026. Like it's probably 10 times that now.
Oh, man.
Probably.
That's a crazy thought.
Probably. I mean, but
That
I mean,
boat math isn't up to snuff, I don't think.
well, that's on you.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that I shouldn't have kept up on my courses, but every year you got to recertify, and it's kind of a bitch.
It is. It's just one of those things when you're watching this movie that your brain just kind of goes by because you're like, yeah, I guess so. Your brain is like, yeah, he could live in that house. But it's an expansive house. That's all.
There's one or two shots in a couple rooms that I didn't like, just because I was just like, I felt like you would be mad at some of these scenes just on account of like, it was like mostly like one of his bedroom scenes where the kid's bedroom or something like that. I didn't like the way that looked.
You already know the two things that I hate most when it comes to art direction and production design. One is it's a kid's bedroom and he's got a baseball glove on his bed. What are we doing? Why is that there? That goes on the dumbest thing in the world. So dumb. And the other thing is, he's a bachelor because he's got pizza boxes in the back. And oh man, of course he's got pizza boxes. It makes me mental.
So let's talk about the kind of the aspect of it. Like you said, they're the single man now. Once father and husband and everything. Wife dies. I'll say this: they handled the wife's death as best that they possibly kind of could in this. Just like I don't want to say steamrolled it, but got it enough. There's enough momentum to where you feel it, you understand where he's coming from, but also you don't feel so stuck with with the dead wife and everything that it throws any of the rest of the story. But really sweet moments, like when he's sitting on the couch there and just has that kind of vision and talks with her and stuff, like just amazingly sweet and really a smart thing that absolutely gets you on that character's side, to which at that point you're just like, he got to do a lot of stuff to kind of, to spoil this, good thing that he's got going on that we've just seen him. It's just like, oh, this is a guy who just, really misses his wife and everything, kind of wants to move on, but at the same time realizes, like it's not going to be an easy thing to do. And the kid pushing him along and having that kind of tenacity to go through, call in. And it wasn't this kind of loosely based on something that happened or something like that, or am I just pulling that out of my ass?
The only part of it that's even remotely true is a kid called into a radio station to talk about his dad.
No, okay, there you go. So just about as
yeah.
This kid's great though.
He is. He's a great actor. I will say this, like, the reason why you bring in Tom Hanks in this movie is because of the scenes with the kid. He's so great with that kid. And him and the kid have such chemistry that it's hard to believe that they're not father and son because he's so good with that kid, Like whether it's the scene where they're brushing their teeth in the sink and the kid's asking them about sex and stuff. And in a lesser movie, they would have the actor be like, what? Like asking me about sex. Yeah. But it is just another question that this kid asks Tom Hanks' character, and they're brushing their teeth. And at the end of it, he's like, how do you know? Tom Hanks is like, how do you know about this? And the kid goes, Jeff down the street's got cable. He's like, oh, okay. And he brushes it. And then when they're done brushing their teeth, the kid goes, hey, I need the towel. And Tom Hanks is like, oh, okay, here you go. And he shoves it in the kid's face and he goes, Jeff down the street's got cable. Like, that's Tom Hanks bringing that to the table. It is such a perfect Tom Hanksian moment that you look at other things in this movie where you're like, how many actors could like realistically pull this off to the point where like, because he's kind of like, rightfully so, the character's rightfully so, but he's kind of shitty to everybody because he's angry. And so like the character himself is kind of angry. He's still great with the son, but towards everyone else, he's kind of shitty. And he's able to pull that off. And I don't know how many actors can do that.
I think he's also like, I think he really taps into the dad portion of this because this is like the math adds up. Like Tom Hanks is a dad at this point and has a kid about this age. So like, I think that's where it all really kind of just lines up. He just goes, hey, listen, I know how to be a dad. I'm a dad, because he is at this point in his life. So I think that he's definitely pulling from a lot of, sense memory and stuff like that with his own kids, and just being like, oh, we just got to translate it with this kid, and does a great job.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Totally agree. Kid in this movie is played by an actor named Ross Malinger. Ross Malinger, we probably know him best as the kid from Kindergarten Cop, right?
Oh, yeah.
But my note to this is Ross Malinger sounds like a made-up name by someone who had to come up with a fake name in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
Ross, I'm Malinger. Like that's what it sounds like to me.
He just saw a couple of words on different sides and merged them together. It's like, yeah, that's sure.
Right.
Ross
Ross dressed for less Malinger.
Meg Ryan has a lot to kind of carry in this movie, in as much as she's in a lot of her scenes, she's by herself and listening to the radio and giving a hell of a performance for just sitting in a car listening to something. And I'm sure, like, my guess is, I could be wrong, but probably Tom Hanks is not off screen reading his lines and shit like that. Maybe he's listening. Maybe they're listening to the recording that they made for the thing. I would feel like that would probably make the most sense for her to kind of go back and react to. But that's like acting by yourself in a car to audio. Got to be a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think it's one of those scenes. Meg Ryan has like 2 or 3 scenes in this movie where again, it feels like, oh, she's the only person at this time who can do this. Like it's not, because the character herself is not, again, like completely imperfect. Like, you're in a relationship with somebody already. Like, why are you fantasizing over and over again about this guy that you've never even met? You literally said yes to being engaged. Like, why is all this happening? And yet you love her anyway, because she's so great in those moments. And if you have the B tier, C tier romantic comedy actresses in this is not the same movie, not even close.
How did you guys feel about the stalking?
About the what?
The stalking.
I think that if it were a guy, this is at the very least a thriller.
The mood lighting changes. There's a little bit of a something. All of a sudden, what's his name? Philip Glass is writing the score.
It turns into that Penn Badgley show on Netflix.
I don't know that show.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really. I'm fascinated by the weird stuff in this thing. Like you said, this woman who's absolutely insane. I'm just gonna go ahead and put you my crazy theory on the table,
please.
While watching this movie, I was reminded of yet another movie. Do you remember on The Simpsons when they were bringing in to the old folks' home and showing them Gone with the Wind edited for the elderly? So at the end of Gone with the Wind, Red looks at the camera and just goes, "Frankly, my dear, I love you," and then the end, and then Grandpa Simpson goes up and goes, "Wasn't there a war in that movie?" So they took out all the stuff that would offend the old people in Gone with the Wind. That's what this movie is. This movie is Gone with the Wind, 1,000%. Meg Ryan is Scarlett O'Hara. She wants what she cannot have. There's she's engaged to be married to somebody, but doesn't really want to get that engaged to marry. She always wants what she cannot have. She's kind of a bad character. This lady, kind of a bad character.
So you're saying like Bill Pullman is Rhett Butler and Ashley Wilkes is Tom Hanks?
Well, no, it's the opposite. I think so.
No, she was in love with Ashley and married to Rhett.
Exactly. So she just wants what she can't have. And that's exactly what she is in this particular case. She goes, I know. And there's several scenes within they just go like when they're shopping for China and everything. It's just like, oh, we are very compatible. We are very much of kind of the same mind and everything. But just like Scarlett, she just got a feeling. She just got a feeling that this other guy might be the thing for her. It's just like you have a perfectly good guy right here. Sure, he's got some flaws and stuff, but the only reason that you don't want this other guy is because you can't have him.
I'd like to see it 3 years later after they get married and they're both miserable. Like she's an alcoholic. He's slowly cheating on her and he's put on a few pounds.
I'm just sitting there. I'm watching this movie from the Pullman character perspective and everything, and I'm just like, this poor son of a bitch didn't ask for none of this. He didn't do nothing. He is he's one of the most innocent people in this, and he handles it far better than anyone could. And again, that's where I think that that's the 90s kind of wasn't there a war in this kind of thing where it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, he's totally cool with it. He's fine. He just goes like, I understand. He'd be rip shit, dude.
Hell yes.
This guy fucking cared. He's like, I got this ring belonged to my grandma. I got it resized. Like this motherfucker loved her, dude. And she just stomped on him for no reason, just because of a cat she heard on the radio. Mm-hmm. That's wild work.
It's pretty.
She's a villain.
At times, though, it feels so accurate.
Explain.
I just feel like, from my own personal perspective in the past, it's like no matter how well you treat someone, no matter how good you are to them, no matter how much you love them, if the bug gets in them for somebody else, the bug gets in them for somebody else.
You ain't wrong there, my friend. You ain't wrong there.
These two boys have been hurt.
See, Sean, you don't know what it's like to have a relationship that doesn't work.
No, I definitely do, but and for sure she was the villain, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever had like it happen where like, but this guy is better than you kind of a thing.
I've never had it like in marriage or
engagement. No, I don't know that I've had that I've known about. I want to talk real fast, just because the untimely passing of Rob Reiner and everything. He's so great in this. Again, just another one of those. You're happy when he shows up. He's like a breath of fresh air. And as much as we have 3 people credited for the screenplay, they ain't write a lot of the shit that's going on in that scene. I'll tell you that right now. I'm like, nope. These boys have done this, and they're having a little bit of fun on set here. But that's these people didn't write those lines. They gave them ideas and said, "Hey, here's where we want you to get." But this was Rob kind of bullshitting on some stuff, and it's really great.
Yeah,
I also really like that Rosie O'Donnell was in it just as a supporting character. I mean, she was great. Little bit of comedy, but she's not like, hey, look at me, I'm Rosie O'Donnell. She is more subdued here than she would be in later years.
I totally wrote this note. As much as I dislike 2026 Rosie O'Donnell, like Rosie O'Donnell now, I forget how great she could be in the right role. And this is one of those roles. Like she is so good in this, because when she first shows up, I got the like that shock of like, shit, this is going to get ruined because Rosie O'Donnell's in this. But she's really, really good in it.
As long as she's not doing that, the special needs character that she did in that one flip, I think we'll be all right. That's the one where you're just like, oh boy, See, I'm up for making fun jokes and stuff, but this is too much.
She definitely did.
Big time.
She totally simple jacked that thing. Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go so far as to say she makes that performance look dignified.
Yeah, it's even worse. I totally agree. It's even worse than that.
Yeah, you as bad as you think. You're like, oh, how could that? Yeah, no, that bad. It gets that bad. As bad as you're thinking, that bad. Maybe a little worse. Maybe a little worse than what you're thinking.
I gotta say, of the supporting characters in this movie, there is one person who is miscast, because Victor Garber, I love Victor Garber. Like in the right role, he is the man. He is not this guy. He is not. he is not the best friend who's just a normal guy next to, like, he is not that character, man. And maybe it's what I brought to the table, but I think he's the weak link of the movie, because I think that you recast him with someone who's more affable. I think you got yourself a stew going. Like, I think that he just has so much gravitas that you're like, that for me anyway, I'm like, well, look, if you need like a stern principal in your movie, he's the man. But if you are like making jokes about the Dirty Dozen with Tom Hanks, that's probably not the guy you want in that scene.
I would say that as far as
by the way, I
characters,
love the Dirty Dozen scene. I love that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
as far as supporting characters go, one of the notes I made was David Hyde Pierce only really has one character, but at least he does it well.
Yeah, he does it great, man. He's the best David Hyde Pierce in the business. Totally agree. The Dirty Dozen scene, by the way, completely improvised. The entire scene was completely improvised.
That sounds about right. It's really good though, but it feels like that kind of moment amongst guys that feels like a real thing that, you know, that could happen, which is good. Between like that and the Rob Reiner, it's just like at least they're having these kind of conversations between men sound like actual, you know, conversations and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, but they do that with I mean, it's a Nora Ephron staple, isn't it? That even the smallest role, like a little bit of that character's personality comes out. She wants that. And so whenever you see something like, I mean, Jesus, man, even the guy who's in charge of going on the elevator for the Empire State Building has like a little, like, you know, like 30-second bit. Like he's that is so Nora Ephron.
I need to find this beautiful old man who's got this fucking face, and we can just put him on here, and he's just going to be perfect. Like, and he is. He's that perfect old timer that would be running the elevator at the Empire State Building. I love it, and I also love how we give carte blanche for nice stories.
For about a year or two after this movie was made, the top of the Empire State Building was a great place to go meet people, to like pick up lonely women.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you just look for the girl who's just kind of like pensive and like, you know, going like, I wonder if is he gonna show? And then you just like, hello, my lady.
I would say, are you
just drop one of those and you can be the
I'd say, are you?
Yeah. Janet?
And then she'd say, are you Billy Bob? I'm like, you know it, baby. I flew in all the way from you flew in from Tuscaloosa? Yes, I did.
Next thing you know, you're on the first 48.
Yeah.
All right.
As the bad guy, unfortunately.
I've got a bunch of notes here.
Okay.
So first thing, Adam, again, this might be one of those moments where you're too young to remember this, but there is a moment in time, and I cannot state this enough, how big a deal Jimmy Durante was in 1993. He was massive. Like, they put out greatest hits albums. You could buy the best of Jimmy Durante at Target. And the reason why I know that is because I did it.
It's because I bought Jimmy Durante at Target.
He was such, I don't know what it was, but in 93, Jimmy Durante songs were prevalent. Like, it was almost like, oh, we found the new Sinatra and it's Jimmy Durante. It was literally like that. He was literally everywhere. He was in every movie, every soundtrack. Like, he is just constantly around. He would like songs of his would show up in commercials and on TV shows. It was all consuming. It was everywhere.
That family was just like letting it loose, just like some of that resage money coming in, some of that mailbox money looking real good to the estate.
It might be a little bit of a Gen X nostalgia thing because he was in a lot of cartoon stuff when we were young.
It's true. Yes. Second, my second note here of observation is this is a second week in a row, another deep cut Ray Charles.
Oh
yeah, I thought that while I was watching it, and I didn't write it down, but I had that exact same thought of like, Ray Charles on Ray Charles action here, huh? How about that?
Yeah, and a deep cut again, like you know, it's not Hit the Road Jack, it's not something George on My Mind, like it's some deep cut.
It's such a deep cut, it probably wasn't even in Ray.
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
One of the things that Nora Ephron spoke to, or I'm sorry, not Nora Ephron, the music supervisor spoke to, is that they were they wanted something Ray Charles-y, and they wanted a Christmas song, or whatever that song is. I can't remember what it is that he's singing but it's a standard, whatever it is. It's a standard song. You just don't maybe it's Over the Rainbow. I can't remember. Anyway, it's some standard that you don't know that Ray Charles sang it because it's such a deep cut, and it was really, I think, really well used. Very cool.
Boys, breaking news.
Fortress Bucks.
Sir, I represent the estate of Jimmy Durante, and we demand an immediate halt to this unauthorized intimidation. So, I'm sorry, MVD. We apologize. We're good. The Jimmy Durante slander will be stopping post haste. Don't worry. Don't worry.
It's not slander. I bought the man's album, his greatest hits during the time. I lived during 1993, and I
like
was of an age.
Record on that wall. I paid for that, you son of a bitch. You're welcome, Jimmy Durante, and your Porsche 911.
So all of these notes that I'm about to tell all come from, I had read this piece in Variety that was written by Susan King. Susan King for the 25th anniversary of Sleepless in Seattle. And man, there are some bangers about this movie. So they shoot at the Empire State Building for real, right? And the only reason why they were able to do it, because they weren't going to be able to shoot there, is because Nora Ephron pulled some strings so she could ask and imprisoned at the time Leona Helmsley, who owned the Empire State Building at the time, if they could shoot there. And she said, sure, you've got 6 hours. So all of that stuff, they shot all of that in 6 hours with the helicopter shot. Shot all of that in 6 hours.
Oh, I didn't. That's a whole separate ordeal right there with the helicopter. Just like to put that into the equation just takes the level from, this to this. It gets so much bigger when you add in that helicopter into that 6 hour window. Damn.
Yeah. And there's, and when they're on top of the Empire State Building, a lot of that isn't at the Empire State Building. That's, that's shot on a set. And again, Nora Ephron to the rescue, because at the time, and when they're shooting this in 92, 93, there's no stages in Seattle to shoot anything. Like no one shoots in Seattle, right? And so they needed they wanted to use this decommissioned naval base to shoot to shoot their, like, to use as their stages. And no one's getting it done. Nora Ephron speaks to a senator who immediately makes it okay. Literally, the Navy calls them and says, yes, you can shoot here. You can use it. Absolutely. Come on, man. Nora Ephron getting it done.
A little bit of motion right there. They're just like, oh, you know what? Damn, pretty good.
She is a ball of fire, that lady. It's so cool. Like, the more you know about her, the more I like her. Because she's just somebody who got shit done, and she's a creative, but she also, like, understands, oh, the real world is getting in our way. I must do something so that we can shoot our fantasy, because a lot of creatives don't think that way. They think, but I want to shoot it. Why can't I shoot it? It's pretty cool, because that doesn't happen all the time.
So what you got to do? Do you want to be a hobo in this movie? Because I could put that. You can have a hobo cameo in this movie, and they're like, "Oh, a hobo cameo. I'll take that." Yeah.
I bet if I had Nora Ephron on my team, I would have got to shoot in that wrestling ring today.
So, according to all the above the line people on this, like, everybody who's on the poster, this is a very fun movie to shoot, which generally doesn't happen with something like this, especially when you're shooting out of town. I already told you about the Victor Garver, Tom Hanks pretending to cry over the Dirty Dozen. All of that was totally improvised. One of the things that Nora Ephron worked on very hard was the soundtrack, and the music supervisor, whose name is Shaman, they would fuss at each other over what was correct, which I just, it's another moment where, like, okay, so she's in the art office talking to the production designer about the way she wants things to look. She's in the music supervisor's offices saying, "Hey, this is the song we should use." And the music supervisor, the work relationship is good enough. The music supervisor is like, "Actually, I think," and they're having a back and forth. I just find all of this fascinating. That's something that would never happen. This movie originally was supposed to be a vehicle for a married couple called Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan. But Nora Ephron, again,
he no good.
Talked Meg into casting Tom Hanks instead. So get out of here. That's
Ephron, pretty good.
Nora Ephron's literally able to talk his wife out of getting him canned from the movie. Get out of here, man.
And then to rub salt in the wounds, Rita Wilson gets a role.
Well, she's also not the love interest, so
I do like the little the little bit there and everything. He goes and gives her the big giant hug and stuff like that, and then she's just like, I don't know about all, like, oh, he's got another lady, and just to know that it's Rita Wilson, it's also a nice little fun, wink and a nod to everybody.
A good interview when he was doing the press tour for this, when they asked him what it was like working with his wife, and he said, "Well, everybody knows if my trailer's rocking, don't come a knocking."
That's pretty good. Last two notes I got here is Tom Hanks, when approached about working on this movie being directed by Nora Ephron, he had heard that she was aloof. And so he wasn't sure if it would work because he needs somebody who he can, like talk to and stuff. And he wasn't sure Nora was that person, but Nora Ephron being Nora Ephron, she made it work. That's who that lady was, man.
Yeah. Nora, what do you know about baseball in World War II?
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm going to be talking about most of the time here. So if in between takes, we could be talking about that. Maybe typewriters every once in a while, but that's,
How do you feel about the early stages of the space program?
I think Nora Ephron is like the big studio picture version of a can-do movie maker.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes. Yeah, she is, man. Like she is a problem solver through and through. She doesn't create problems and then make everyone else like fix the problems. She is the one solving a lot of these issues that this movie had. Last note I have is that Nora Ephron going for a timeless quality, going so far as to say, we want you to be able to watch this movie 25 years from now and not realize what era the movie is set in. And I'm sorry, Nora Ephron, but you have failed miserably on this front because this movie feels so very, very 1990s.
We're sending war correspondence. It's like, dearest Judith, here on the front. It's like, oh, geez, we're taking 8 weeks to send things back and forth and stuff, and it's all based upon vibes. It's a vibe check, this entire movie. The kid's going like, I swear to God, this is the one right here. I read it, and the words are all super sweet and stuff. And Dad's just like, I guess that's going to be the lady that we're going to go after. What in the sweet hell? This is a woman's story if I've ever heard one. It's so made up.
I do like
and then you go, and they're both not ugly people who are killers. That's amazing.
I do like the part where he pulls out the map to show his kid where Seattle is versus Baltimore.
It is good. I do find it very convenient that whenever they talk about the map is right there that he can pull down. Like, why is that there? Why is that?
Who even has that in their
It's
house?
1993. We were still animated people, animaniacs type people, where they'll just pull down this screen that's got all of, here's your world map, and this.
I would argue with you, Portress, that I don't think that Animaniacs has as big a footprint on the world as you would like it to be, because I know that is a hallmark for you.
Yes, I think I am correct. Come on, that shouldn't be shocking you at this point in the game.
No, well, come on.
Well, let's get down to it, ladies and gentlemen. Bruce, what is your rating and recommendation for Sleepless in Seattle from 1993?
I know a lot of people like it, and it's well made. I find the stories that Sean's sharing from the production of this to be more interesting than I find the movie itself. Like Sean said, it's either your cup of tea or it's not, and isn't necessarily my cup of tea. Didn't like it then, didn't really enjoy the story now, but there are moments that save it. So I'm giving it 3 stars. No shade there, but it was more about moments than the movie as a whole.
That's not. I can see that. Sean, what you got?
You know, I like it. It's you know, it's one of those movies where, oh, this is where all that came from, and there's a lot. There's a lot to look at this movie, and you go, oh, I didn't realize that this trope is from there, and that trope is from this, and it's surprising the way the characters behave. You know, Tom Hanks' character is not a perfect man. He's kind of a prick, and she sucks. If you're Bill Pullman, she's the worst.
Yeah, and she's a psychopath. She's a nut job. She's a nutter. Let's not.
And that's what makes the movie so much more interesting to me. Is that later on down the line, you know, everybody's so perfect in romantic comedies, where it's like, you know, like. She's a fitness instructor, but he's down on his, you know, like that kind of thing. But they act perfectly all the time, except for some one quirk they have, some crazy quirk they have. And this is not that movie. This movie is far more based in reality. And I just found that fascinating. I think this is a 4 stars, 4 Hanks hands for me, 4 giant Hanks hands.
I think I'm with Bruce on this one. This is a nice solid 3 stars. I think the reason that it keeps at that level for me is the fact that I was watching this and just screaming, this is Gone with the Wind. This is absolutely Gone with the Wind, but rewritten to have a nice, lovely ending as opposed to the reality ending, which the reality ending of Gone with the Wind is like, listen, girl, you played around for far too long. It's over. It's like you had it. The ship has sailed. Goodbye now. And this has that opposite of just like, nah, everything's fine. Don't worry. It's all good. Everything will work out in the wash. Probably not. But I love the optimism of it. Nora Ephron, love the optimism of it. It's great. It's super 90s that way. But yeah, three solid stars.
I think you might be the first person to make that Gone with the Wind comparison, and I'm here for it. But I don't know that
I looked it up. I looked it up to see if anybody had said it. But I found nothing of no one saying such a thing. But to me, that's what this whole thing was. I was like, oh, she just wants him, can't have him. And I'm like, I'm surprised she didn't switch it 3 or 4 more times in that thing. But one more for the road here.
Fortress Bucks.
MBD, thank you, my friend. You've just been knocking them out these today. Nobody had any interest in seeing An Affair to Remember after this except me. First of all, you know what I didn't like? I could be wrong, but I think that was a black and white movie that they converted to color for, and it felt gross.
I think that
does anybody else have that when they saw that little bit? It looked like it was colorized.
I think enough people wanted to see this that they made a major studio release of An Affair to Remember remade, which, you know, the remakes are always better than the original.
I've never seen it, and one of the things that one of the reasons why I don't want to see it is because the screenwriter couldn't believe that he was like with his girlfriend or something, and she was crying watching this movie, and he's like, and I'm having the worst time. I'm like, I hate this movie. This movie is boring. I hate it. I don't like. Why are they acting like this? It's awful. And then his girlfriend starts crying like in real life, and he was like, what is it about this movie? I don't get this movie at all. Like I am having the worst time watching this. And that's one of the things he put into the script is that dudes don't understand why women love this movie.
Oh, and it is in color. It's just whatever they had just looked shit apparently. Because I was just like, what's this? No, it was a color movie. The transfer just looked like it was like it was so crummy that they did a post color thing. But there you go.
Who is in the remake?
It might be Warren Beatty and whoever he was dating at the time, but don't hold me to that.
Warren Beatty.
I never saw the remake.
I have no memory of this film, the remake. No memory.
And his current broad is how she was billed on the
Mhm.
Like whatever lady he's kind of plowing through right now, because that's what
I just
they
remember
do,
it. I remember because a girl I asked out to go to a movie wanted to see An Affair to Remember, and I rescinded my offer.
And you said no, Ghostbusters 2.
It's up to us. We've got to take it down. It's like that's where it's at, lady. What are you talking about? Fair, remember, get out of here. That is it for this week, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed this Tom Hanks rom-toms in order here and everything. We've had a very good time. We've discussed hands and all kinds of crazy stuff, but now it is time to get into the beautiful zone, everybody. That's right. Next month, we're talking all about the beautiful people in the March of Dimes. That's right, everybody. We're putting together a whole slew of movies with attractive people. Oh, Hollywood full of attractive people. So gross and disgusting. Sean, what's our first film?
Okay, well, before, because the way you described it is like kind of not
all right
what it is. So the March of Dimes is like the hottest an actor or actress has ever looked in a movie, right? And so like where you're just like, oh my God, this is why this person was famous, or this is why this person is famous. This is the hottest I've ever seen anyone look, right? And so that's where the March of Dimes comes from. It's not the Franklin D. Roosevelt put together nonprofit organization to beat polio. It's us going, this person's hot in this movie. That's what this next month is about. And the first one we are watching is Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, because the actual person who is unleashed on an unsuspecting society is Linda Cardellini as Velma. I will not stand for it if anyone says anything poor about that woman because of Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. She looks great in the first Scooby-Doo movie, but ain't nothing compared to her in Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
We will we'll figure that one out next week. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know that I've seen either of the Scooby-Doo
written
movies.
by James Gunn, both of them, dude. Both movies written by James Gunn.
So at least there's a little something to recommend them for those of you out there that might be like, I don't want to. It's a James Gunn movie. Well, it's a James Gunn film, so get yourself together, sirs.
They are surprisingly good. They are surprisingly good.
Until then, Bruce, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
Bruce's Can Do Movie Show has launched on YouTube. So go check out YouTube. You can find it via Bruce Leslie or at Anime Dad. And we kicked it off with Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies by the Asylum.
Very nice. Very nice. Asylum. So it was what we call top tier cinema. Top tier. Yeah. Sean?
I lurk in the shadows. I know everyone's secrets. I will eventually. I am working on a project right now that I do not want to jinx, so I will not speak to it.
You ever see Darkwing Duck? This is a 6 foot tall version of that.
I am vengeance.
He is the night. And I'll be joining. We hope you can join me on Tuesday nights for TikTok Trash Tuesdays. There we go. I got it out, everybody. You know what we call that, Sean? A portrait segue.
Oh, portrait segue.
Look at that little
guy, baby.
There we go. We had to throw that.
My dumb face is in the way. Hold on. Dang. Ruining it.
But yeah, we're gonna be talking a lot of fun stuff on TikTok. Oh,
do it again. There you go. Look at that thing. Look at that handsome devil. I love that thing.
TikTok Trash Tuesday, everybody. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Shut up. I know. When you take the shirt off, it's the opposite. Actually, it's just all instead of the muscular. It's all right. Anyways, TikTok Trash Tuesday, 8 p.m. It's been a good time over there. And please follow YouTube on all the social medias and stuff, because I take all the TikTok Trash Tuesday stuff, I chop it up, I make it all look nice and stuff like that. Like and subscribe and hit all those things. It just kind of helps this show get out to other people. They'll see clips from all of the things that we're doing and go, oh, I might want to go and subscribe to that channel. It all feeds in and on itself, everybody. So hit those like notification bells and all that kind of good jazz. We really appreciate it. And we want you to join us here next week when we're talking Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed for the March of Dimes. Until then, for Sweet Sean to go back from the internet, Bruce Leslie, I'm Meta Portraits, reminding you to get out there and watch some movies, you dirty babies.